I'll be back.
I'll be back.
That's right. We want to live with what we know to be true. If it's true, make it you. If it's true, make it you. If it's true, make it you. Live with your truth. Do you know that do you believe in God? Yes. Do you know that God doesn't want you to talk in shul, in synagogue? Yes. So why do you talk in synagogue? See now, it's what the hawk is. What am I going to do? If it's true, make it you. Live with that truth. Do you know that you need to get the armor to not fall into the black hole? Staying in yeshiva is going to provide that? Yes, but, that's not an answer. That's just a groan. That was still not an answer. It was just unintelligible sounds. Answer! The answer is that I'm not living with my truth. If it's true, make it you. The first thing that a Jew lives with, as we're going through the order of the day, and I promised Bli Neder tomorrow, I want to tell you a story about tzitzis, but I want to just frame the entire beginning of the day, is the halacha of Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Tamid, which means that when we wake up in the morning, the first thought and the first level of consciousness is that God is with me always. That's why the first thing that we say is modeh. Before there's even a me, there's just an acknowledgement of God. And in every single step of the way is getting closer and closer to Hashem. Every bit of Jewish life is about absolute God consciousness. And if you pay attention to it, it's all about just being mega conscious every second. Does anybody know that there's a rule? Yeah, it's a rule of how you put on your shoes. Anybody heard about that?
Yeah.
Anybody not hear about that? Don't be shy, you could lift your hand. That even the way you put on your shoes is governed by Jewish law. You know that?
It's so hard.
You put your right shoe on first, then your left shoe, then tie the left shoe, then tie the right shoe. You knew that?
How about the socks?
Oh, good question. Right sock first. And furthermore, you want to hear something else crazy?
Blow my mind.
You ready for it? If it's true, make it you, though. Be careful. It's one of the great rabbi. You should know there's a great Rebbe, Valbi, Shlomo Walby, who was a great, great person and wrote the Aleichem and gave many, many shiurim about personal development. And there were many, many students that he had. And one of the key elements, one of my rabbis, Rav Lawrence Kellerman, so there were many times that he went to him. He was very, very close to him. And when he would go, though, he would say, Rebbe, I'm coming just for advice. Just, Rebbe, I just want you to know, whatever you tell me, I'm going to do. So just know that. So you sure you want me to tell you this? There's an element of like, once I tell you, then you know. You know what I'm saying? You sure you want to know?
Yes.
You want it? It's true, make it you.
Okay.
When you take a shower, there's even a way of how you're supposed to wash your body in the shower. Did you know that? You wash your head first, and your arms, and then you go down the body. Why? Because the head is important. We actually put preference and we give respect to the head, which is a higher level organ, because Jews respect brains. That's also why God made us bipedal, that our head is above the other areas of our body, to show that the head has dominance, that you're supposed to use your brain to think about things, which is different than other mammals, which walk not bipedal, which, take note, their brain and their lower regions is on the same plane. Sadly, that's most of the world. They might look like they're walking on two legs. However, psychologically, they've put their head and made it that really what's drawing them is lower base desires. So in order to show precedence and importance that we respect the head, so we wash the higher areas of the body first. You're like, interesting, that actually makes sense. The shoes, we spoke about this before. The right side represents chesed, the left side gevur. We're not going to get into it. But you know what some people think? They're like, God, like, chill out, I'm in the shower. Give me some space. My shoes, like, give me some space. You guys are like, even in the shower, there's like ways that you have to like get out of here, give me some privacy already. Who thought about that, be honest? Tell me you were thinking something like that. I just made it more dramatic. But who thought about something like that? Okay, thank you for admitting that. You're honest and you're brave for doing this in a group setting. I appreciate that. So let me tell you the secret. The secret is, God's not like trying to get you, like, give me some space, God, like I'm in the shower. God realizes that you're anyways going to wash your body. I hope, right? We promote cleanliness as Jews. You anyways are going to put on shoes. So instead of having those two acts become mindless, I just do it. If it's something you're anyways going to do, God says, let me make that also an opportunity to connect to me. Isn't that beautiful? Even when you're putting on your shoes, God's like, you can also have consciousness there. The Jewish way is absolute God consciousness every second of the day. All the time. In the shower. You're obviously taking a shower. So you're washing yourself. So yes, you can also be close to God there. God says we can have a real relationship all the time. Yeah?
So, but where is this written? Where is this from?
In the Shulchan Aruch, in the Code of Jewish Law. So I'm reading you now one of the fundamentals of waking up in the morning. And I want to point something out which is interesting, is that in the beginning of the Shulchan Aruch and the Tur and the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, there is a part of Pirkei Avos, which is quoted. Anybody know what Pirkei Avos is? Ethics of Our Fathers. There's a section where the different rabbis compare us to animals. That it says that you're supposed to be like animals. The Torah mentions in one place that if the Torah was never given, let's say it was never given. It was given. But let's say it wasn't. If you would observe different things in the world, you could learn about life from observing the animals. The Torah says you would learn about modesty from which animal? The cats. You know why?
Clean up after themselves.
And have you ever even seen them go to the bathroom? I was like, wait a second. No, actually. I just haven't. Has anybody ever seen a dog go to the bathroom? Yes. Like in front of you, looking in your eyes as it's defecating? Bro, like get a room. Like what are you doing? Like it's just, and like excuse my language, like pishing, like just, like whoa, excuse me. Yeah, like excuse me. I don't appreciate that. With like a dopey look, looking at you, or like sniffing you and stuff. Like, excuse me, the person, private space here. So you wouldn't learn modesty from the dogs. I'll tell you that much. But cats are very interesting. The nature of the cat is that you don't see it going to the bathroom. They have a certain privacy. So God says, if I didn't even give you the Torah, you could learn certain things by just being an observant Jew. You get it? Observing? Just paying attention to the world. So there's other areas where they say that we're supposed to be like animals, to represent certain qualities of the animal. So I want to read you a couple. Because this is mentioned also in the beginning of the consciousness of the Jewish day. You want to know what one of the underlying consciousnesses is? And this is the first. We're going to mention 4 animals now. This is going to be number 1. And there's a reason why it's number 1. Yehuda ben Tema Oimer. Yehuda the son of Tema said, Heve az kanomer v'kal kanesher. First one, you should be bold like a leopard. Even though leopards are not the most powerful, they have a certain boldness to them. Why is that the first thing? We'll see in a second. Let me mention the other 3. Kal kanesher should be light like an eagle. Be light like an eagle. Ratz katzvi, you should run like a deer. Should be like a deer. Run. The gibor and powerful like? Lion. Like a lion. Ari. You should be powerful like a lion. Why? In order to do the will of God. Let's break that down a little bit. Az kanamer. Why is it a good idea to be bold? Usually we say bold or brazen even. Why is uz usually, it's the worst character trait. You shouldn't be brazen. Is brazenness a good trait? Tavi Nachman, to be brazen, brazen?
No.
No, not a good thing. It's actually very bad. Brazenness is seen as...
It's like chutzpah?
Yeah, but yes, it actually is. We're going to get to chutzpah. Brazenness seems to be like haughty, chutzpah, but not for good things. Like running is, really like one-upping himself, being rough, coarse. So why would I want to have this brazenness, this uz? Well, sometimes you need to harness certain powers and use them for the right thing, not the wrong thing. Imagine a person had a certain level of brazenness, which is, I know what I'm doing. So if somebody's trying to help you and you're like, nah, that's not a good idea to be so brazen. Someone's like, you really should be more respectful to people around you. Nah, whatever, they deserve it. That's brazen, that's very unhealthy. As if and you're like unbudgeable. But what if you harness the power of brazenness, shelo yisbayish mipnei bnei adam, and you're not embarrassed from other people, shemaligim alav, that start making fun of you when you're putting on your tefillin. Someone starts making fun of you, oh, what's with the boxes? Jew boy. Wearing a little hat. Jew boy. So brazenness would say, yeah, it's working for me. That's brazen. I'd even call that chutzpah. But that's not regular chutzpah, that's called holy chutzpah. It's being able to say, God gave me this as a way to connect infinitely with the creator of the world. And even though there's all the player haters and everyone's saying, oh yeah, oh, what's with the cosmic dental floss? Yeah, what's with the strings? I know what I'm doing. This is a mitzvah from God. So the first thing, cosmic dental floss, you like that one?
Good, that's funny.
This is cosmic stuff here. Tavi now, this is the real stuff here. That even though the world is going to say what they're going to say, but is the world influential? Not if you have brazenness for God. But if a person does not have brazenness for God, is the world influential?
Too much.
Oh my goodness. One of the first rules, if you learn anything from the Rambam, Adam nimshach achas svivaisav. You are pulled after your environment. It's a rule. You are drawn after your environment. And if people there are not into, boxes, they're not putting on the phylacteries, they're not phylacking, you know what I'm saying? The black box, bro, you phylact today? They're not putting on black boxes. So, you think it's going to be easy for you to put on black boxes? Your crown? They're all hating on the crown. You need to be a bit brazen. And they're trying to make fun. Oh, what's with the hat? I'm not talking about a Yankee hat. What's with the kippah? Chicago Bulls, fine.
It's actually...
Oh, it's not?
Look,
It's a fake
it's
hat?
my Torah hat. It's a robot reading the Torah.
That's so, oh my goodness, I actually see what you're talking about. Did you guys ever see that?
Chicago Bulls. It's really a robot reading the Torah.
Yeah, that's like a known thing? I saw it the second that you showed it to me. That's very fascinating. It's a bit of an interesting look. Is he wearing a kippah, that robot?
Yes.
I guess the black shadow on the top could be a kippah. And then I guess payas coming down the sides.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, there's going to be all sorts of voices out there in the world. From the second that you get up in the morning until the second you go to bed. There's different influences and a person's going to be pushing you. And you need to be brazen. You need to say, Hashem, you gave me these mitzvahs. That's the first quality that a Jew lives with in the morning. Friendly. But if somebody tries to make problems with your strings, says, oh yeah, why are you doing that? Oh, come on, just eat the cheeseburger already. Just Just do it, Just pick off the cheese, just peel it off. Like, what's the problem? Just peel it off. Come on. Come on. Or this one, you want to become a partner in the firm. We have our initiation, over clams. So, you're in or you're out. You want partner? You don't want partner.
I made partner with God.
That's the answer. I made a partnership with God. You got to be a bit brazen to make that move. At that time, I was like, do it, do it. You need to stand up. And let me tell you, the world in the end will respect that. Because in a world where people are very wishy-washy about real values, about something that's deep and meaningful, that you could put a stake down and say, I believe in this. And I don't move from this is a very, very powerful thing. Very, very powerful. So the first thing is to be brazen. Only in that context of somebody's making fun of the mitzvahs that you say that I know that God is real. And I know these mitzvahs are real. Animal number 2, kal kanesher. Light like an eagle. What is the explanation of that? Keneged re'os ha'ayin. Connected to the way that your eye looks. If your eye sees something that it shouldn't be looking at, should my eyes be heavy and just remain on the image of ill repute? Or should I be light to remove myself from something which would be not appropriate? Kal kanesha means as soon as something which is not appropriate, let's call it not holy, that a person is able to very easily say, the pop-up came on, it's not a nice thing, that I could say, light to move. A person gets married, he has to look at his wife exclusively. So it's...
Look at other women. Where do you draw the line with that?
So, you can look, but you can't gaze. The problem is, many people go from look to gazing very quickly. And gazing is like googly-eyed. And that's not okay. A person has to be faithful. We're here to teach the whole world about being faithful. Being faithful. And being faithful is a message for humanity. All of humanity has 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, 7 Noahide laws, and one of them is faithfulness in marriage. Being faithful is a major thing. And the Jews have taught that to the world. That is a message for the world to be faithful. Because you know what happens? Everything starts with the eyes. The eye sees something, and then what happens? The heart gets excited. And then what happens? The hands are just called the vessels of completion. They just finish the job. The eye sees, the heart revs up, and then the hands finish it. That's the sequence. Which means, if a person, when the eye is being shown something which would not be so nice, the eye is able to swiftly, like an eagle, and lightly to close itself or divert to something more appropriate, then the heart never has time to get all fired up. He sees, let's say for a Jew, a non-Jew is allowed to have meat and milk, but let's say for a Jew that he sees the golden arches in the distance. Hope is upon the horizon. Dalananan. Big Mac special. I'm coming. Supersize me. Get it in there. Get it in there. Anybody seen that movie? Classic. Classic. Supersize me. Ayin Sham. It doesn't have all the most appropriate images, but the concept is a very, very profound concept of essentially just well-being as a human being, which is one of the main ideas of Torah. It's called Derech Eretz Kadmel Torah. Even before you're supposed to learn Torah, you're supposed to be a human being. You're supposed to be a human being. On that point, I want to mention something. Anybody know, does the Torah say anything, I'm sorry to say something sick, about eating other human beings? Is there any open prohibition, I'm sorry to say it, against eating human beings in the Torah?
No.
There's not an open prohibition, even though it falls under another prohibition called Bal Tashak, so do not do disgusting things. What's the reason for that?
It's not kosher. It's implied.
What's wrong? It's probably parav.
Because it's implied.
Because the Torah only starts talking to human beings. The Torah takes for granted you don't eat human beings. You understand what I'm saying? The Torah is already addressing a human. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And therefore, after somebody's a human, it's obvious. It's obvious. Even though the Torah does have a side prohibition called do not do disgusting things. And that's mentioned in reference to eating people. But the Torah is trying to make human beings. To make a human being. We want to make human beings. So Supersize Me is about, in my opinion, making human beings. Just trying to make a healthy human being. You'll see what I mean if you just look up the content. The idea is somebody just living on junk food for 30 days. Just seeing what happens. To his brain, to his thinking, to his body, to his liver. And then the main takeaway is, and basically, most of the world is going through something similar with their diets. And you want to reclaim just your well-being. To be a balanced, well person. So Kal Kanesha. What's the next one, my dear friends? Ratz Katzvi, run like a deer. What is that talking about? Use your legs to run to mitzvahs. Run to the mitzvahs. Shachris, I don't want any of this like, oh, I'm dragging myself. Someone needs something, run. Run. I'm getting old. Run. You know the way Tzvi Meyer runs in the morning to Shachris? It's called Tzvi, also. Tzvi Meyer. He runs. He gets up many, many hours before davening every day, by the way, and just learns many, many hours. Just to give you one little vignette about Tzvi Meyer, that he has a certain time very early in the morning that he gets to davening Shachris on Shabbos, and he has to be there by that time. He goes to bed very, very late, if at all, and he has somebody that meets him in the house. He also had somebody he didn't want to wake his wife up with an alarm, so he had a string tied to his leg. And the string would go out the window, and then someone would, like some early time, 4:30 in the morning or something, he would jump up. So there's one morning he said that he was by the house, and it was getting close to the time that he had to be in shul, like ready, learning. He said the Rebbe came down and just bolted to shul. And this is like a young bacher, like some 16-year-old, and he was like, he could not keep up with the Rebbe. Like 65 years old, like sprinting to shul. Sprinting to shul. Last animal should be strong like a lion. At any time that your Yetzer Hara tries to make you do things that you don't want to do, remember you're a lion. You're a lion. Don't listen to your evil inclination. We should be Zeicha Mamish to listen to Hashem, to listen to the greatness that's within us, b'siyat d'shmai, and with that bring Mashiach Tzidkeinu, and build the binyan Beis HaMikdash, Beis Tifarteinu, b'mher v'yameinu. Amen. Shavua Tov, a wonderful day. Remind me to tell you the tzitzit story, okay?